What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you, rather excitedly, more information on the game I've recently been covering called Encased. Now, they've actually released an update to their current closed beta, which I believe they are calling Closed Beta 2 or Backer Beta 2, however you want to call it. Essentially their second update to the beta. Now, first thing I want to say right before I get into absolutely anything that I try to start off these videos with is that I have backed this game on Kickstarter. They aren't sponsoring these videos in any way. I just think the game is cool, so I backed it on Kickstarter, so I'm covered it on this YouTube channel. No relationship of any kind to disclose other than that. I just want to be upfront with everybody right off the bat. So, with that in mind, they've actually added quite a bit with this new update. So, first things first, just right on the splash page for the beta, they've actually released a bit of a roadmap from here until release, kind of explaining what they're trying to do. So it looks like they'll be going into early access next after this beta, as well as doing probably 3 or so closed early access patches for the people who have pre-ordered that particular version of the game, and then from there moving on to a full release. So from there, I want to mention that they also updated the skill system. They updated some of the current skill trees, added skills, some of the skill trees that didn't have anything, they've actually added the abilities to. Now, for the most part, your access to these abilities in the beta pretty much remains unchanged. The only thing that they actually added, as far as usable skills goes in the beta, is the car driving skill line. I forget exactly what to call it, piloting, I think is the word they use. They've actually added the skills in for that, so that is a usable skill now, and that is because you have the opportunity to drive a vehicle, which uses the kind of event interface that you see in CRPGs oftentimes. It's not like you properly driving the car or anything. It uses more of the event system common to CRPGs. From there, of course, they also added a large section of Magellan Station, which is called the accommodations area. So that's basically where everyone is sleeping in Magellan Station. So with that comes the ability to wrap up some of the quests that required you to go there, as well as pick up some new ones. You can talk to a bunch of people there. And then finally, you can actually leave Magellan Station now to go to attempt to go to C-12 Nashville, which is where the post-apocalyptic part of the game officially kicks off. So you drive off, you get stranded in a swamp location, you kind of do a fun quest there, you then carry on to C-12 Nashville, of course. Now, you can kind of interact with the environment a bit here, but it turns out that the part where you actually enter C-12 Nashville does appear to still be blocked off, so it looks like that's as far as we're getting. They've actually added a few new enemy types as well. The Mobius, which is like a robot spider of sorts. It's really cool. You'll of course see it in the footage here. It's pretty awesome. As well as infected humans. Now, it doesn't specifically state infected with what, but given the nature of the forefather technology that is at the forefront of this game, it would assume infected by the Maelstrom in some way. Again, not a lot of info on what that actually entails right now, but I imagine the game will actually, elaborate on that a bit. But we do encounter some infected folks, as well as, of course, giant mutated cockroaches, which is, kind of a staple of these kinds of games. So, that was all I wanted to tell you guys. Awesome update. If you haven't considered backing this, you can actually pre-order the game and enter into the beta right now if you wanted to. I think it's pretty cool, worth checking out. So if you like what you see here, I'd recommend it. But honestly, pre-orders in general are always kind of a gamble, so take that with a grain of salt. Lastly, if you have any questions about anything you've seen here, or if you haven't, basically if you don't know what the game is, I actually have a bunch of videos explaining what Encased is, kind of how the combat system works, all of those things. You can find links to those in the description down below if you're new to the game. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a good time. Hope you subscribe and stick around if it's your first video. But other than that, have a great day.